Good afternoon.
Hi Pratima, good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. Okay. So let's start with the lecture now. Like yesterday, we had seen the concept of CSS. Okay, that is cascading
Yes,
style
ma'am.
sheet. Okay. Yeah. Now we have to learn the next concept, which is JavaScript. Okay. Like we had seen one markup language and one style sheet language. Now we have to learn scripting language. Okay. Now, what does the scripting language means and why this is required? Okay, like at the time of explaining HTML, I have explained that HTML is used for creating a static web page, and generally there are two type of web pages given. One is static, another is dynamic. So when it comes to interacting with the web page, generally we have to make the use of any programming language or any type of scripting language. Okay, so JavaScript is one of the type of scripting language. Okay, now in case of scripting language also, basically they are divided into two type. There is a client side scripting language and there is a server side scripting language. Okay, the working of both is almost same. What is that working? If you wanted to perform some action on your like you can say web page, then that action can be performed with the help of this. But the only difference is client side scripting language have some limitations which are overcome in server side scripting language. Okay, we have to learn related to the same in depth when we will start with ASP.NET module. But for now, you just have to learn only one thing, that is JavaScript. It is a type of client side scripting language. Okay, so let's see what we have to cover in this topic. We have to learn what is JavaScript, where the JavaScript is used, where to JavaScript is used, then what are the JavaScript statements, its variables, data type, functions, how you will handle the exception, and how to perform the form validation in JavaScript. That also we have to learn. Okay, so let's start with the first, that is what is JavaScript. Okay, now the first point they have given related to the JavaScript is JavaScript and Java, they are completely different languages, both in concept as well as design. Okay, like JavaScript is a scripting language, whereas Java is a programming language. Okay, who had developed Java? Sorry, JavaScript. JavaScript was invented by Braden H in 1995 and became an ECMS standard in 1997. So we can say it actually comes in use from 1997. Okay, it is an object based scripting language that is lightweight and the cross platform. Now what does it exactly mean? Object based means what? For performing some kind of functionalities in JavaScript, they have given predefined objects through document object model. Okay, means that document object model contains the collection of objects which are responsible for performing the various operations like accept the input from the user, display output to the user. Similarly, I can say for performing the navigation related task, windows related task, or date string related task. Okay, then one more thing they have given, that it is a cross platform language. Means what? Cross platform will simply refer to the language which can be executed or which can be used along with all the type of programming languages or any other type of language. Okay, like if I want, I can make the use of JavaScript with Java, with .NET, in Python, in PHP, anywhere. Okay, there is no limitation that you can use JavaScript only with .NET or only with PHP. It is a separate language which can be used or which can be merged or integrated within any other platform, within any other language, and that's why it is called as cross platform. Okay, now if I'm saying that JavaScript is responsible for performing some kind of action, Okay, means here we will perform like dynamic operations. Okay, and in general, for performing dynamic operation, we always make the use of like any programming language. Now here, like, and another thing, in case of programming languages, we always need a compiler or interpreter which will perform the execution task. But what about JavaScript? So JavaScript is not compiled, but it is translated. Means, just like for another languages, we need to install some software, some IDEs, okay, to work with that language. But in case of JavaScript, you don't have to install anything. Its translator is already available within a browser. Okay, like the JavaScript translator, which is embedded within a browser, is responsible to translate the JavaScript code. And that's why we don't have to worry about like installing anything else for the JavaScript. The only problem with JavaScript is what, within a browser they have given the settings to disable the JavaScript. Means in some cases, if you do not require the JavaScript code or JavaScript functionalities, then in that case the client have choice to disable the JavaScript. Okay, now where JavaScript is used, I can say what are the uses of JavaScript, okay, or advantages of using JavaScript. The first and the most important is it is used for client side validation. Okay, means if you want to validate your form before submitting its data to the server, then in that case you can go for the client side validation. What kind of validation? Like as you know, like in maximum registration form, some fields are mandatory fields, means you have to submit the data within that field, then only your form will be submitted. Similarly, email ID must be given in a proper format, phone number must be given in a proper format. Then I can say password and confirm password must match with each other. These are some kind of validations which we can perform at client side with the help of JavaScript. Okay, and as you know, when it comes to dynamic behavior, we are always working with the forms. Okay, means we are always accepting some data from the user. And when you are accepting the data, you should verify that data against certain criterias. Okay, and those criterias, those limitations can be applied with the help of this, like I can say JavaScript. Second advantage is it is used to display the data as well as date time. Okay, means all the dynamic values can be fetched and displayed to the user. Along with that, with the help of date object, I can display the date as well as time to the user. Third one is, if you want to display some alert or you can say dialog boxes, then in JavaScript they have given three different type of dialog boxes which we can use in our website. Okay, there is a alert dialog box, confirm dialog box, and prompt dialog box. Okay, alert dialog box is used only for displaying the messages. Confirm dialog box, it display message along with two buttons which will display like whether you want to submit, or sorry, whether you want to exit or not, whether you want to delete the data or not, etc. And prompt dialog box is mainly used to take the user input. Okay, with the help of that dialog box. Okay, so these are the advantages or uses of JavaScript. Now, where you can make the use of JavaScript in your code, means where we have to put the JavaScript code, that is nothing but where to JavaScript is used. So there are three options given for JavaScript, just like we had seen for CSS also. Okay, so here also I can put the JavaScript code within body tag, or we can put it within head tag. And if I want to separate the JavaScript code from HTML code, then we can simply put that code into an external file. And then you just have to link that external document or .js file with our application. Okay, so these are the three like you can say places where we can put our JavaScript code. Now, for like you can say now, like first we have to start with the concept of um, where and how that JavaScript is used. Means I can say the basic structure of JavaScript program. Okay, and then we will start with the, like you can say, small things of JavaScript, like its variables, functions, objects, and the validation. Okay, so to start with, first, basic structure of JavaScript. So let's start with the example now. Again, you have to use Notepad. You don't have to make use of any other, like I can say, sorry, any other application. There are some companies or students which make the use of Sublime Text or Visual Studio Code, etc. Those applications. But in our case, it is not required. It just because we don't have to work more on JavaScript, CSS, HTML. Okay, we have to mainly focus on ASP.NET, MVC, etc. Okay, we are learning all these 5 modules, that is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, and Bootstrap, only to understand the concept of web programming. Okay, so that it will become easy to learn ASP.NET and MVC. Okay, so to start with, first, now for using JavaScript also, you have to create a simple HTML page only, because when it comes to scripting, we are writing that script for some page. Okay, and that page is nothing but our HTML page. Okay, where we can perform the action. Okay, so let's create a HTML page. JavaScript programs. Let's say demo1.html. Oh, what happened? Oh, by mistake, I have saved some other file. This is done different. Meta. Done. So once this file is saved, now, first of all, we have to learn how to make the use of script within a body tag. So for using JavaScript, you have to use script tag. And inside that script tag, you can write the complete JavaScript code. So let's say I just wanted to print a hello through JavaScript. Okay, so to print an output message on output screen, or you can say on browser, we have 2 different options that I can make the use of: document dot write. Now document is one of the predefinedly given object in JavaScript, okay, which is basically used for input and output and to refer the HTML elements. Okay, so document dot write, let's say hello. This is the first way of displaying the message using JavaScript. Then second one is I can display the message through alert dialog box also. Like we have to write alert in bracket, whatever the message you wanted to provide. This code will be executed first and then our output will be displayed. Okay, now similarly here, outside that script tag, I will use header tag and put some message over there. Okay, done. It is saved now. I'll just execute it on a browser. Okay, so you can see the output. First of all, the alert dialog box is displayed. So this is how alert message is displayed on Google Chrome. Click on OK. You can see hello is displayed through document.write and prognosis is displayed through H1. Okay, anyhow H1 like header tag is given by us, but this hello is displayed through script. Okay, now what I want is let's create some paragraph over here. Now in case of like putting the script in body tag, what problem occur? The only problem is this script gets automatically executed whenever the page is loaded on the browser. Okay, means we cannot decide that when this code will be executed. It is automatically executed, and it's just because I have put that script within body tag. Okay, so let's say I have taken a paragraph 1. Similarly, take one more paragraph with some ID. Now in CSS we had seen how to make the use of ID. So I have taken ID, and within this paragraph I have written nothing. Okay, it's empty. What we have to do is we have to assign the message within this paragraph with the help of script. Okay, so let's see how to assign the same. So in case of JavaScript, to refer any element of HTML page, you have to use one of its method called as document.getElement by ID. Okay, in bracket, which element we have to fetch? Provide the ID of that element. Okay, so just a minute. Say P1 dot. Now what we have to do is we have to put data into that element. Okay, and for that purpose they have given two methods. First one is dot inner HTML and another one is dot inner text. What is the difference between that method? That I will explain. First of all, let's check how this inner HTML work. So here I have written the statement as CSS. Done. Okay, so now when the page is loaded, it should display that alert dialog box first. After that, it should display hello, prognosis, paragraph 1, and then CSS. So let's see the output. You just have to navigate to the browser again and refresh the page. So you can see alert dialog box is displayed. After that, hello is displayed, prognosis is displayed, paragraph 1 is also displayed. But after that, what we want in a paragraph 2, there I have to display that CSS, and actually I have displayed it with the help of like our JavaScript code. But the problem is what? It is not displayed over here. Now why? How you will identify the error? Okay. Now, first thing about JavaScript is case sensitive language. Okay, means there you have to provide all the predefined methods of set in the same way as they have given. Okay, like in case of get element by ID method, E, B, and I must be capital. G must be small, likewise. Okay, now how to find out the error over here? So to find the error of JavaScript, we have to click F12 option. Just on keyboard, you have to press F12. Then go to the console window. This is called as developer option of web browser. Okay, like from here, you can make the changes in your code. Okay, and those changes will be reflected over here. So console cannot set property inner HTML of null at JSDemo1. Okay, now what it says, cannot set property inner HTML of null. Now it fetch the value within this document dot get. Okay, so just like I said, that without using var keyword also we can declare any variable. So I have simply written c equal to a plus b. Done. Okay, and then we can display the output on output paragraph. Okay. One more thing we forgot, that is the difference between inner HTML and inner text. Okay, wait, I'll give you now. Addition is plus C. Okay, just like we put the messages inside console.writeLine, in the same way we can put the messages over here. Okay, like for displaying the messages, we can use, or for concatenating the data, we can use plus operator. Okay, now just to see the difference between inner HTML and inner text, I will do one thing. I will take this paragraph for the 2 times, and we will put that statement, like the addition is C, that statement again on another paragraph also. Done. Okay, and here what I have to, hello. Okay, okay, so we were at this example. Now to start with, like here I have taken 2 text boxes and 1 button as calculate. After that, within a head tag, I have created one script, and inside the script I have created a function as add. Within that function, we have declared 2 variable a and b, through which we have to store the data of the in which we have to store the data of text boxes. So for accepting the data of the text boxes, we have written the methods as document.get element by id t1 and t2 dot value. Okay, then we have taken the third variable as c, in which we are storing the addition of 2 numbers. After that, we are printing the output on 2 paragraph, one by using inner HTML and another by using inner text. Then once our function is ready to use, you just have to call that function on a button. And for calling that function, we will make the use of event called as onClick. On click equal to, you just have to provide the function name and its parenthesis. Done. Let's execute the function now. So I will execute it. Wait, theta, then JS programs. Once the program is executed, you can see this type of output is displayed. And I will accept the number as 5 and say 8. Okay. And click on calculate button. So you can see on click of calculate, what output it displays? It displays the output as 58. And what output we are expecting? We are expecting 13. Okay. So the problem is what? Instead of performing the addition, it simply concat those two numbers. Okay. And why this happened? It's just because by default, the data accepted from the text or text box is taken in the form of string. Okay. And that's why it just concat those two string. Okay. Like here, I will say, even if I'll accept any string, still it will be concatenated. Like you can see hello.js is displayed. Now, the problem is the data is taken in a string format. So how to avoid that problem? So to solve that issue, they have given the method as parse int, through which we can convert or parse this input value into integer format. Done. Okay. Now, here, to check the difference between inner HTML and inner text, I will put one tag within this output. What the inner HTML does, it will accept that tag and convert it into the proper format. But in case of inner text method, whatever we have provided is taken as only text, not as HTML tag. Okay, done. Let's see. Now you can easily identify. Wait, I will share the screen. So now the Google Chrome is visible to you. If I'll accept the numbers like 8 and say 44. Now you can see on click of calculate, on first output paragraph, it display addition is 52, which is totally correct in bold format. Just because there I have applied that B tag. And in case of inner text, that tag is displayed as it is. It's just because it accepts the data as a text. And in case of inner HTML method, it accepts the data as a like you can say HTML. Okay. Now, this is how we can perform the action on any data, or we can accept the data. Now, along with that, let's say I've just taken a simple button, and on click of that button, we have to perform some action. Let's say input type equals to button, then value equal to let's say square, means I just wanted to print the square of a given number, and we'll create the function over here. Okay, so for creating a function, we can simply use function, let's say sq, you can give any name. Now for calculating the square of a given number, I have to accept that number first. Okay, and for accepting that number, we have to use any text box. But here, instead of text box, what if I wanted to accept the data using prompt? Then how it can be accepted? So I will say var n, or simply n equals to, now again the data must be converted into integer, so I'll use percent in bracket prompt and then enter the number. So it will create a kind of dialog box through which we can accept the data. Now once the data is taken, we have to display the output to the user And for displaying the output here, I will use H2 with the ID as say O. Means variable header 2 will display that output. So document.get element by ID output dot
Hello, Pratima. Hello.
the number file 6 on click of OK, the square is displayed as 36. If I'll enter the number as let's say 12, 154 is displayed. Okay, so this is the way of using prompt dialog box. Now dialog box means dialog. So for that purpose, hello. Now the
Yeah,
screen
hello,
is visible to you, right? That problem and that the screen is disconnected.
आणि आवाज पण नाही
Okay.
येत प्रतिमा. यू आर नॉट
So
ऑडिबल.
what I was
हॅलो.
आता
अटकतोय, मध्ये मध्ये ब्रेक होतोय.
हॅलो आता येतोय का आवाज?
हा, आता येतोय पण मध्ये मध्ये ब्रेक होतोय.
ओके, मे बी इकडे ऍक्च्युअली नेटवर्क इश्यू असेल.
हा हा.
अजूनही ब्रेक होतोय का?
नाही, आता येतोय.
हॅलो.
हॅलो.
ओके ओके, हा ठीक आहे. ओके, हा हा, येतोय आवाज?
हो 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 येतोय.
Hello. Ha. Okay. So what I was saying is here, like we will take one button for displaying the confirm dialog box. Okay. So to make the use of confirm dialog box, I have taken button as input type button with the value as exit. Now, let's create one more function as say function close. You can give any name to the function. Then here we have to make the use of confirm dialog box. So I will say n equal to confirm in bracket. Do you want to take exit or do you want to exit? Any message you can provide. Now the output will be returned as either true or false. Okay, so I will check if n means if we will say yes, we have to take I want to take exit, then we will say alert, thanks for visiting our site. And then by using predefined object window, we will close the current window. Else, I will print the alert message as welcome back. And then we will say window dot focus. That is in case if the window is minimized, blurred, anything, that window will again comes into the focus. So now I have to use this close function on this button click. So input type button value equal to exit and on click equal to close. Done. Let's see the output again. So on click of exit, okay, there is some error and that's why the message is not displayed. We'll check the error. No, there is no error. Wait. Everything is correct, but maybe this function name already exists and that's why it may give that error. Okay, so you can see this is confirm dialog box that do you want to take exit. If I'll say cancel, it will display the message as welcome back and the same window will be focused again. But if I'll say okay, you can see it gives the message as thanks for visiting our site and then that tab will be closed. Okay, so this is how the confirm dialog box will work. Okay, and these are the basic examples of JavaScript. Now, along with that, we have to learn some more things. Okay, like how to make the use of string and the date functions in JavaScript. Okay, so to do the same, first, like you have to take the same HTML page. Now, as I have already created this example, so I will explain the same. So to perform the same action, you have to do the simple thing that within a body tag, simply create some buttons. As button on click equal to show, click here, which will display the string functions, and another is show date, which will display all the date function. Okay, the code for exit button are seen, means that type of code we had already seen, so I'll not explain that code again. We just have to learn the string and the date functions first. Okay, so within head tag inside the script, I have created the first function as show, okay, which is used for string. Okay, so I have created two strings as variable string 1 equals to this is new string is something like that, and I have created one more string as this is another string. Okay, now what are the string functions in JavaScript? The first function is char at. This char at function allows us to fetch the character at specified location, okay, or specified index. So when I say char at string 1 dot char at 3, okay, so it will retrieve what 0 1 2 3 s. Okay, so from string 1 the third index character will be retrieved. Okay, just to avoid the confusion, I will do one thing: strings with the another simple strings, because that makes more sense. Welcome, and I will say hello. It will become easy to understand. So character at third index will be fetched from the first string. Then next is concat function. Concat function allows us to concat string 1 with string 2. Then we have index of and last index of function. Index of function will return the index of e from welcome, but this will return only the first index. Like as you can see, this welcome is repeated twice in e is repeated twice in welcome. Okay, so it will return the first index of e from the welcome. Similarly, I can retrieve the last index of e from the welcome. Okay, slice function simply allows us to slice, or you can say fetch the character from 0th index. And how many characters we have to fetch? 3 characters. I can say it will simply remove those characters from the given string. Okay, then there is a trim function which allows us to trim the white spaces from the starting and ending of the string. Means if there are any extra white spaces available at the starting and ending of the string, that can be removed with the help of trim function. Then we have substring. Substring function allows us to accept the argument as start index and end index, through which we can fetch the data from the starting index up to last index. Those characters will be retrieved. Then another is document.write. I will say length of string 1. So there is a length function given. Similarly, document.write from hello, let's say replace H with C. So you have to say str2 dot replace in bracket H comma C. So this replace function is also available. Let's see the string functions first. Okay. So to execute the same, I'll navigate to the browser now. Okay. So when you click here, you can see, okay, there is a problem with length function, and that's why length, whatever I have written, that is not displayed. So character at third index is written as what? C, because from welcome 0, 1, 2, 3, C is displayed at third index. Similarly, when I concat, then it becomes welcome hello. Then index of E. So 0, 1, the first index of E is 1 and the last index of E is 6. Then when we slice the data and retrieve the data, starting from 0th index up to like what third index, or you can say how many characters? 3 characters. Then welcome, anyhow there is no space in the welcome, so it is not trim. And then substring 0, 4 means starting from 0th index up to third index data will be retrieved. Fourth index is not included in the same. Okay. Length, as it is a property, and I have given the parenthesis over there, that's why its output is not displayed. So you can see length of string 1 is displayed as 7, and from hello we have replaced H with what? C, so it becomes cello. Okay, so these are commonly used string functions in JavaScript. Okay, and to use this function they have given their own string object. Okay, and those like those methods. Now next, similarly we have date functions which are mostly used in our application. Okay, means when it comes to the websites, these date functions become useful, okay, as compared to the string function. Okay, so first we have to learn how to create a date and how to make the use of date. For that purpose, I have taken a function as show date. Then var d equal to new date. So this new date allows us to fetch the current date and time, okay, on the basis of system date and time. Okay, so whatever the date and time is displayed on the system, that date and time will be retrieved. Okay, and saved it within D. So first of all, I'm displaying the system date as D. Then it has multiple functions, like first one is the month. Okay, so D dot get month. This function allows us to return the current month. But the problem is this get month function fetch the values in between 0 to 11. Okay, means January is treated as 0 and December is treated as 11. So if the current month is 7, it will display 6 through this get month method. Then get year. Get year method allows us to fetch the year. but it displays that year in RR format. Now, what does RR format means? Like if the date belongs to like 20th century, then it is displayed as just, I can say if it is 1990, it will be displayed as 90. If it is 1986, it will be displayed as 86. But if it is, I can say 2011, 2005, or let's say current 2020, then it will be displayed as 120, or like if it is 2011, then 211. If it is 2006, then 206. Likewise, the year will be displayed. Okay, so the one which is given at the starting of the year is treated as 21st century. Now, if I'll provide the date as 21 something, like 2110, then it will return as 210. Okay, means 22nd century. The 2 will specify 22nd century and the last 2 digit of the year. Okay, then get day. You can see there are 2 functions I have given. There is a get day function and there is a get date function. So get day function allows us to return the weekday number. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, anything. And get date function allows us to return the month date. Okay, means the current date. I can say 7. Okay, and in case of get day, it will return as 2 if it is Tuesday. Okay, similarly, we have method like get hours, then get minutes, get seconds, and get milliseconds. Okay, this allows us to retrieve the data in the form of hours, minutes, seconds, and seconds. Okay, so let's execute the same to see the output. The show date, you can see the system date is displayed as Tuesday, July 7, 2020. Then the time is displayed in a 24-hour format. So it is displayed as 1427, that is 227. Then, just like I said, the month is displayed as 6, just because the date, like data is retrieved in 0 to 11 format. Year is displayed as 120. So 1 will specify the 21st century and 20 is nothing but the current year. Then day is displayed as 2, as it is Tuesday. Okay, then if it is Wednesday, it will be displayed as 3. If it is Thursday, it will be displayed as 4. It's a weekday and the date will be displayed as what? 7. Similarly, hours are 14, then minutes 27, second 1, and for millisecond, I think there is a spelling mistake. Along with that, I will do one more thing. Let's take the another date. Okay, by using new date, you can fetch the current date and time. But what if I wanted to specify my own date format? Then it can be displayed as var equal to new date 12/3/1990. But it is taken as mm/dd/YYY. So 12 is taken as a December. Okay, let's check the same. So on click of show date, you can see December, like 3 December 1990, month is displayed as 11, year is displayed as 90. Now, why it is displayed as 90? Because it is 1990. It means the year belongs to 20th century. Then, as it is Monday, so day is displayed as 1. Then, date is displayed as 3. And I have not specified the timing, that is hours, minutes, and second. So, it is displayed as 0000. So, this is the second way of specifying the date. Then, there are 2 more ways given. The third one is I can specify the date with the help of milliseconds. And the fourth one is I can specify the same with the help of timestamp. Okay. So if I'll use this format where d equal to new date and then some milliseconds. Wait, now the notepad is visible. So if I use this format that var d equal to new date, then some milliseconds, it will like convert those milliseconds into the date format. But from which date? From 1st January 1970. From that date, these many milliseconds will be counted, and whatever the date is retrieved, that date will be displayed to the user. So suppose if I have given these many milliseconds, then let's see which date will be retrieved. So I think I have not saved that notepad. Now it is saved. So now you can see it count the date as what? 26 May 1970. Okay. So it is counted from 1 January 1970, and the corresponding seconds, milliseconds, day, year, month, etc. is displayed. This is the third way of providing the date. Okay. Now the next, the fourth way of providing date is where d equal to new date 2018. This is timestamp format. Timestamp means what? Year, month, day, and then like next thing, that is you can provide hours also. It's your choice. So I can say 11 hours, 20 minutes, and 145 milliseconds. This can also be specified. Okay, so whatever the time, everything given, on the basis of that, the current date time will be displayed. Okay, so understood how to make the use of string, the date functions. Next, we have to start validating, like JavaScript is script validation. Wait, I will open that page first, and then we will start with the example. Just a okay. Now, we have to learn how to use client-side validation in a JavaScript. And to learn the same, like let me show you the output first, and then we will see how this validation works. Okay, so suppose if this is the form, and on click of register button, what it will show, all fields are mandatory, that I have to enter the full name, username, country, email ID, etc. Now, if this validation is satisfied, like it will check one by one. Okay, so I have given the full name as, let's say, any character we have entered. Then for username, you can see they have given the restriction as it should have 6 to 8 characters, but I have entered more. Okay, if I click on register, you can see the first error is given for the full name. What is the error? That in full name you have to accept only characters, not any special character or a space. Then on click of register, you can see again it gives an error for the username. What is an error for the username? That is, you should enter the character in between 6 to 8. Okay, I have given this type of character. Then email ID, I have already given the proper email ID, but let's change this. Then for email ID also it will give an error. Okay, then here as I have not chosen anything, so it gives an error as please choose any option. After that, for register, please enter the proper address and use only numbers and alphabets. Okay, then for zip code, please enter the valid zip code. That is, it should have the length as 6 digit. And if all the validations are successful, then only the form will be submitted. So let's check that how you will apply these type of validation for this form. So the first requirement is what? You need to design this form first. Okay, and then you have to write the code for the JavaScript. So for designing this web page, I have taken one simple HTML file like formvalid.html. Within this file, okay, now I'll not explain this whole code. Why? Just because you already know that how to create a form. We had seen it in HTML. Okay, I'll just explain the main code. Like in this form, I have attached one CSS file, that is formvalid.css, and one file, that is formvalid.js. How to create this JS file, how to attach, that I explain later after completing this like design part. Then within a body tag, we have taken the form with action as welcome.html, and I have taken one event over there as onSubmit. Then we have to attach this event later. Why? Because in case of JavaScript, you have to design your code first. Okay. Then we have designed full name, its text box, then the paragraph for displaying the error message. Simply username, its text box, its corresponding paragraph. Means for displaying the error messages, I have taken paragraph like below every control. Okay. Now, generally in case of .NET, no one most focused on this client-side validation. It's just because in ASP.NET, they have given their own validation controls, which are much more easier to use than this like client-side validation code. Okay, means you don't even have to write any type of code. You just have to drag and drop. Okay, but in some cases, if someone will ask you the question that how to use client-side validation, then you should know. And for that purpose, we are learning this example. Okay, so like I have taken the text box for email ID, similarly for country, address, and PIN. And then I have taken submit button. Now what we have to do is for all of these text boxes, we need to apply some validation and we have to write some validation code. And to do the same, we need to create an external JavaScript file. So here I have created external JavaScript file as formvalid.js. What you have to do is just take a new notepad file and save it as formvalid.js. So .js, it is an extension for the JavaScript files. Okay, then in this file, you need to create all the functions for performing the different type of applications, functionalities. Like one more thing, whenever we are writing a code for the form validation, always try to make the use of or try to create the functions which can be used in a universal way, means which can be used for all the type of forms. Okay, so that there is no need to write the code again and again. Okay, so we have created a function, like first function as what? Text numeric with two parameter. First one is the input text and the second one is alert message. Okay, now this function is responsible to check the validation as the input text, or you can say current text box, should accept only integer or only numbers. It should not accept any special character or alphabets. Okay, then to perform the action, I have taken one var numeric expression as, now this is called as regular expression. Okay, means this character have some meaning. Okay, this slash is used to enclose the regular expression. So what is the regular expression? This symbol, power symbol, denote the starts with. Okay, means whatever the data we have taken, that data must start with what character sequence? Within a square bracket, I have given the character sequence as 0 to 9. Means we are specifying that it should accept only digit. plus will denote one or more digit. Okay, means 0 digits or like 0 length is not accepted. There should be at least one digit available, and dollar denote ends with, means this expression must ends with digit only. Okay, now what we have to do is, within a parameter already I have taken input text, so we will check if input text dot value dot match in bracket numeric expression. Means if the text box data will match with this pattern, then only we will return true. Return true means what? It will return that okay, validation is successful. Else I will display the alert message on the particular paragraph. Then we will focus the same text box again, means the cursor will navigate us to the same text box so that we can identify that the validation or error is occurred in which text box, and it will return what? False. So if it return false, which simply specify or which simply means that the form will not be submitted. Then again, next, the next function we have created for alphabets. Okay, means if someone wants to accept only alphabets in the text box, then this function can be used. Now if you will check all these functions, I have created this function and then we have just copy pasted it by changing the pattern. Okay, means I have to copy paste the same, we need to change the function name, and then as I want only alphabetical values, so I have take the regular expression as what? It must start with small a to z or capital A to Z. Okay, and ends with same. Okay, now maybe the meeting will end within a minute, so we just have to reconnect because we have to complete this example. Okay, so now once the pattern is given, again check if the input text match with the pattern, then return true, else display the error message, focus the text box and return false. Similarly for alphanumeric, we have given the pattern as what? The length must be 0 to 9. The character must be accepted only as a number or small alphabet or capital alphabet. Okay, if the pattern is matches, then we will return true, else we will return false. Similarly, next for the username, I have given the limitation as what? It should have 6 to 8 characters. Okay, okay. I'll explain this function again. Like I have created this length defined function for accepting the character between some range. Okay, like the username must have at least 6, like a minimum 6 and maximum 8 characters. Then for that purpose, this can be applied, and the same function can be applied for the another like forms also. Okay, so what that function is, it accepts 3 parameter: input text, mean and max. Okay, then we have taken the value of input text into user input variable, like var user input equal to input text dot value. Then we will check if user input dot length is greater than equal to minimum and the length is less than equal to maximum. Means whatever the data we have taken from the user, if the data, or you can say length of that data, comes within this range, then we will return true, else we will set the error message as please enter between minimum and maximum character. And what we have to return? We need to return as false, as the validation doesn't match. Okay, then next, this is for username. The next one is for drop down list. Okay, like we are asking the user to select the country. But what if the user has selected nothing? Then the problem is, by using length function, we cannot ensure whether the data is like taken from the drop down list or not. So for that purpose, I have returned the method as true selection, which again accept input text and alert message. Then we will check if the input text dot value is please choose. Okay, means if the value is still please choose, then it simply means what? The user has selected nothing. And that's why we will ask the user like to enter the value, means we will set the alert message and return false, else I will return the true. Similarly, the last method is email validation. As you know, in multiple forms, we may have to accept the email. So for email validation, again, we have set one regular expression pattern as it should start with /w. Now, what does /w means? /w is non-specifiable character. So it will take any character. Then after that character, dot may also available. /+ means one or more occurrence of the dot. Then after that, we can add some more characters. Then you should have @, then some characters after that dot, and again some character. And after last dot, the length of character must be 2 to 4. Okay, like I can accept .com, .in likewise. Okay, only one or more than 4 characters are not allowed. Okay, so now if you're saying that how we will create this regular expression pattern, so you don't have to create these patterns by your own. All the HTML regular expression patterns are available online. You just have to copy paste the pattern which you want. And if you want to create your own pattern, then you have to learn regular expression module separately. Okay, means in HTML they have given that module. Okay, and within that module they have explained the meaning of each and every character. Like what does the /w means, what does /hyphen means, what does that power symbol means, what does the dollar symbol means, etc. Now, once that email regular expression is given, you can compare that regular expression. If it matched, then we will return true. Else, we have to return false. So now all of these individual functions are created. But what we have to do is we need to bind all these functions with our form. And for that purpose, I have created this main function as form validation. Within this function, I have taken all the values of the text boxes. Like we have taken first name text box value, address, zip code, state, username, and email. Now first, I have to write the code to check for the mandatory fields. Okay, means I can say for required field, we have to apply the validator. So how you will check whether that field, like we have entered anything within that field or not. Okay, so for that purpose, we can check if the first name dot value, okay, dot length is exactly equal to 0, or email dot value dot length is exactly equal to 0, or username dot value dot length is exactly equal to 0. Means if the length of our like you can say text box is exactly equal to 0, then we can say all fields are mandatory. Means we have to display that error message within a head paragraph. Okay, and then you can focus any one of the text box. But just because I have not taken a function for this, and that's why we have simply focused the first name text box, and then we have to return false. Okay, now if you have noticed one more thing, then here I have taken every function with a return type. Okay, it's just because we need to decide that whether we have to submit the form or not. Okay, so on the basis of this function's return value, like if the function will return the value as true, then we can say okay, the form must be submitted, or it is allowed to submit the form. But if it return the value as false, then that form will not be submitted. Okay, then if, then we have checked if input alphabet Wait, huh? If input alphabet, now this is the method in bracket, it accepts two parameter. First one is the input text, comma. Second one is like error message. So I have given the error message as what? For your name, please use alphabets only. Okay. This is the validation for the first name. Similarly, for username, I have applied the validation method as length define. Similarly, we have applied email validation, true selection, text alphanumeric, and text numeric. Okay, and I have given ladder if. Ladder if means what? It will check those validation one by one. Okay, means first of all, it will check for the first name, then username, then email, then state, address, and zip code. If all the validations are successful, then only I will return true. Else, simply we will return what? False. Okay, so done. Our function is ready to use. Okay, now once your function is ready to use, you just need to call that function on your HTML page. And to do the same, I need to bind this JS, that is JavaScript file, first to the HTML file. So how to bind or how to link? You have to write script src equal to form valid.js. Okay, so src will specify the file or source of that file. And then for calling the function, I'm using the event as form on submit. Okay, you can see the event name is on submit equal to return form validation. Okay, so on click of submit button of the form, this function will invoke. If this function will return true, then this on submit function will be, on submit event will be occur and it will submit that form. Okay, else it will return false and the form will not be submitted. Okay, this is how the client-side validation can be applied using JavaScript. Okay, and I have already explained that how this client-side validation work. Like you can see for email ID, for this country. But you can see we have to go stepwise as I have used ladder if. Okay, understood the client-side validation concept?
Yeah, Pratima.
Okay, so here our JavaScript module is also completed. I will share all the code as well as PPT with you. Okay, and tomorrow we have to start with jQuery module. Okay,
Okay.
okay then. Let's stop the lecture over here now.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Bye.